Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the information you need to make an informed decision at the ballot box in less than 60 days. So let's get this show on the road. Let's welcome all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma, my good buddy, Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome.
Howdy. How you doing, Art? Hello, everybody out there.
I'm doing all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for a nap. I didn't get my nap this afternoon.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was, farting around on the computer, and then I started watching football, and
Yeah.
not a bad game. It was a seesaw game. First time I've seen a game where the opposition had two safeties. So that was
Right.
interesting. Alrighty, let's welcome to the great blue state up in New York. Let's welcome Charles Gillespie. Welcome.
Lloyd, everybody
Hey,
in the
Charles.
chat.
Howdy. And how's
Howdy.
how's the weather up there?
Kind of cool, cloudy.
Oh, cool. All right. Here it's partly cloudy, but it's been a nice day. We've been in the low 80s, so nice here. Nice, almost fall day. So pretty soon the leaves will be changing, and they've already closed Trail Ridge Road up in
Really?
Rocky Mountain National Park.
Oh, because
Yep.
of the snow already?
Yes, we got a dusting of snow up at Pikes Peak.
Ah,
hmm
okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
it's our high was 81 today, which is
Nice.
relatively cool. It's kind of nice. Right now we're sitting at 79, so.
Wonderful. Well, let's say hello to everybody in the chat. We got Steve Knowles. We've got Brian, Waypoint, New England. We got Grant, Mr. S. Joey, J. Bird, welcome. And we got Michael, Cool Cat. Good to see you. Charles Gillespie. And the grumpy vlogger, Lloyd. And that is about it, unless some new people come jumping in shortly. All
Well,
right.
This is the first Sunday of regular season football, so.
Yes, that is true. And, it's the weekend after Labor Day, and people are, starting to get used to the old routine.
Ronnie.
My show was a little light on the viewers there, but hey, we're just getting back into the groove after the holiday, and
Yeah.
hopefully it'll start picking up. And so I'm doing something a little different on Saturday. Instead of giving away toffee, I've got a grab bag that's full of stuff that Brad from Nana's Attic sent me. So, Lloyd, you're getting a package this week.
Oh, am I? Okay.
Yeah. So keep an eye out on that. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll start getting more viewers, and I need to get more super chats and members on my other channel, because it looks like I'm not going to get a payout this month either. So I think it's the economy. The economy has been pretty weak, and I've noticed a lot of people are not,
Thanks, Brian. Yeah.
yeah. People aren't doing the super chats or the super thanks, super stickers, and I've noticed over on Ken's show that he's not getting as many.
No,
and he's not getting the big ones. Remember, you get those $50 ones.
Yeah,
he's not getting those.
Unfortunately, I think several of those people that used to give him that have already passed away.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah. It's
and I haven't seen Bill around, so I'm guessing he's probably
Bill
passed.
who?
Chin Dynasty.
Oh yeah, I don't know if he's passed yet or not, but I know he's
Yeah.
really sick. But I think he's
Yes.
probably pretty close.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we have a debate coming up on Tuesday, which over on ABC. That's right, ABC. And is that with George Snuffleupagus? Is he going to do it?
Somebody's asked me that before, and I said I didn't honestly know. I think my cousin was asking me. So
Ah,
who knows? I don't know if they announced it yet or not. Joey put something up there about that, so
right.
maybe he knows.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of
Yeah.
questions they'll ask, and we'll see how well Kamala could hold up against Trump.
Well, if she breaks even, it's not going to change anything. If she comes in really poor, it's going to change a little. But
Right.
I think if she does really well, even at that, I'm not sure that it's going to. I mean, even Fetterman's saying, this is going to be close. I mean, there's a lot of people are saying, they're not hedging. Nobody's putting good money down on Kamala right now. I don't think.
Right.
You know, uh, so you know, we're going to
Joey
see.
said it
I
might be Donna Brazil. I don't
could be
know if
done.
she's over there at ABC. But
Hmm. Yeah,
huh,
I haven't even looked at it to be honest with you because I really haven't seen any. I read quite a bit about it, and and when I was sitting, let's see. Funny thing, or the thing was, I was sitting over there at the restaurant eating my chicken dinner, and uh, it was like, okay, I didn't see anything in it. There's a lot about it, but not really saying who.
uh-huh. Yeah, it just says hosted by ABC News. Doesn't really say who. Oh, it's doesn't really say who will moderate the president.
Yeah, we got a I think a troll,
Oh,
or
oh, yeah.
maybe they're just here to be informed. We'll see.
Oh, I hope. Hopefully.
I'm not.
You
Uh,
know,
Actually, he hasn't been found guilty of any felonies because that's another point we'll talk about a little later. Is the sentencing has been postponed till after the elections. So,
yeah.
uh, oh, and if you want liable for any, and no, he's not out on bail. As far as is he out on bail? I don't think he is.
Uh, I don't know if they set a bail for him or not. I think they did. Uh,
Right.
I think they
Oh,
had to.
I think yeah, but
In New York, they had to. I think in order for him to be able to leave to go back to Florida to take care of stuff
right,
down there.
right.
Yeah.
And
There's
also,
Lee Beesing.
yeah, Lee Beasing, good to see
Thank
you,
you, Jay
Lee.
Bird. Yeah, I kind of thought I couldn't.
Oh, thank you, Jay Bird. Yeah,
Because, yeah, I mean, we don't mind entertaining opposite points of view, but when the first thing they do is come in with just really inflammatory statements
right.
that are argumentative at best, and obviously we would not be able to talk our way into getting them to agree, I think that you can pretty well call them a troll. So,
Yeah. Hmm.
and that's sad. I mean, I wish they'd listen and try and understand our points of view instead of going on the attack. And I wish everybody would read both sides of everything, because that's what
Right.
this is about. Because, uh, yeah, we're not running against, Joey puts it up, we're not running against a candidate, we're running against a system.
Right.
It
Hmm.
requires a candidate they can control.
Right. And who's running that? Obama.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and so
Yeah, I'm just hoping that at the end of the day that America has had enough of this kind of shenanigans and
right,
stands up and votes, But like I said, I think this debate's going to be, it's either going to be a big nothing or it's going
right.
to be very entertaining.
You're right, Ronnie. Yeah, they're
They're
not
not,
open minded.
they're stubborn headed, yeah.
Hmm. Well, it's not that they're stubborn headed. Well, in a way, but they perceive themselves as
The only true
all
ideology.
knowing, and they know
Yeah,
what's best. You know
yeah.
that
But you're
we're the
right, you
evil
can't,
ones. Anybody
yeah,
that doesn't believe in what they want is somehow evil, and that is what really bothers me. And this goes all the way back to right after Bill Clinton. That's when this whole crap started. They went after George Bush after he beat Al Gore,
right.
and he ran for 8 years, and then right towards the end we had the housing bubble that burst, and that brought in Obama.
Yeah, yeah,
And instead of having a big V shaped recovery, we had more of a little W
yeah,
because if you look at the GDP growth during his administration, uh, it averaged about 1.9%, which
yeah.
is, yeah, nothing to
Right,
really
right.
cheer about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all for Cool Cat said, and Michael said. I'm all for engaging,
Right.
I think uh what happens a lot of times is they believe uh well, let's put it this way. The Democrat, and this is something I've argued about for years. The Democrats, they have an ideology. They may not all agree 100% on it, but they 100% support the leading
Right.
ideology of the party. They support the party. They may
Hmm.
not support the ideology, but they always support the party.
Right.
Whereas the Republicans, you talk about it being the party of inclusion, but yet I think the Republicans are more inclusive than anybody because we have people from, I mean, even conservatism it's a word that doesn't cover just one thing. We have religious conservatives, we have financial conservatives, we have governmental conservatives. I mean, we have a
Social
variety.
issues,
Yeah,
conservatives.
we
Yep.
also include a lot of moderates. Just slightly right of center.
Right.
Moderates.
Hmm.
Whereas, and this is, and believe it or not, this is one of the things that came out in the poll this weekend by I think it was CNN or no New York Times, and that they don't feel that Kamala is moderate enough. She's trying to portray herself as a moderate,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
said she's far too progressive and liberal for them. So,
Hmm.
and they feel that Trump is, although he might be conservative in some of his beliefs, his overall he's like the average American, you know.
Yeah.
Because even you and I are two different types of conservatives in a lot of ways. We're
Hmm.
both conservatives, but we have, and I know Charles even has some
Yep.
differing points of views than we do sometimes.
Right.
And the difference is we can sit down here and talk about it.
Right. Yeah. Yes. We have different gradients of conservatives.
You
You
know,
know,
and
from right of center to way out there. Yeah.
yeah. But I like to wait until the
Yeah, and I
line
can
is
I can sit
crossed.
here and coexist with you other people who are just wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We know you're the only one on this panel that's right, and we appreciate you tolerating us lesser
Yeah.
beings.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's but that's it. I mean, We can joke about that too, you know.
Yep. Hmm.
Uh, uh, but yeah, and I agree with you, Cool Cat. I think that would be great. Uh, no, that's all right. I think that, but sometimes when you've been doing this as long as, uh, let me take it. Go, Charles. Say some words of wisdom for a minute. Let me answer this message.
All right, I'll put you on mute here. Take it
Uh,
away, Charles.
well, has anybody heard about what's happening on social media with tenant media?
Yes, I have been watching that. I've been following. You know who Ryan McBeth is? He is
No,
a.
that name doesn't ring any bells for me. But
Oh, okay. Well, what he he's interested in disinformation, and
uh-huh.
he goes after anybody, not just leftists, but people on the right, anybody who puts out false information, deception. He came up with a word called DIP, which is deceptive image persuasion. And he was talking about Tenet and how that. All right, it looks like Lloyd's done, so I've unmuted him.
That was
And
quick.
Tenet has infiltrated the Republican, uh, not the party, but the commentators to try to steer them into being more Russia supportive or anti Ukraine support.
Now, is there any actual? I hate to say, is there any actual evidence of that?
Yes, there's been an indictment. There have been two Russians that are part of the indictment. They've put in like $10 million into this group called Tenet, and they had several conservative commentators. A couple that I recognize is Benny Johnson is one of them,
Yeah,
and that other young guy. I can't remember his name, but he's always wearing a stocking cap. And he's
yeah.
got
Tim Pool.
yes, that's right.
Who?
Tim Pool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the others, I'm like, they sound familiar. I don't know them real well, but basically, what they did is they were trying to give these people talking points to steer more uh, uh, people away from supporting Ukraine. You know, so that's what's going on with that, and that's actual indictment.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
one
I
of the
heard that.
guys, his name is Alexei Kalishnikov. Wow, how original! Uh, and the other one was Elena. I can't pronounce her last name, but they used to work for RT, which is Russian television, and so they are working on pretty much behalf of the Russian government because uh, Russian government controls the
Yeah,
media and sort of like what the Democrats do here. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, they've been, they, of course, the first thing the left did was, say, well, there you are, Russian collusion uh, Donald Trump and Russian collusion. Anyways, and of course, right after they said that, Vladimir Putin comes out and says he's supporting Kamala Harris.
Right.
Now, did he do that tongue in cheek? I don't know. Or was he joking? Or was he knows that as long as Kamala's there, he can get by with doing what he wants in the
Hmm.
Ukraine?
Yes, you're correct. Nope, that's the one I won.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and they're doing it through education. You
Well,
know.
that's how it starts is through the
Yeah.
education, and then at some point the education those being educated become the educators, and the politicians and the news broadcasters and the news producers and content producers for all of the different uh, shows, everything from that's why we've got so much of this, so much of the woke that is which is funny. A lot of the woke is opposite of socialism, but
Mhm.
they're allowing it to happen to weaken us, because once it gets to that point where they're ready to take over, well, the first people they're going to get rid of is a lot of them woke folks.
Yep.
Those will be
Hmm.
the first one, like they did, in so many other countries, get rid of the artist and the gays or homosexuals or whatever term they use. They start. Those are the people that are usually executed first, right next to
Right.
those with those educated educators that they get you know they they shut down everybody. You know,
Yeah. The
and
intellectuals, the
yeah,
lawyers,
yeah,
the artists,
yeah, judges,
judges.
and what's going to end up happening is you're going to have. You think the conservatives are bad now? Wait until the socialists take over. They make conservatives, seem like Tinkerbell
Yep. Oh,
when you
now we
get the
have
communist.
Sam in the chat. Chinese takeover is here's that's true. What I
Not
mean, Charles, your governor is involved with China, and it looks like she's got a spy in her.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard about that, but I
yeah. Hmm. So
yeah,
I just posted a link from CNN about a Russian-funded company linked to social media stars. David Rubin is one of them as well. Yep.
yeah, Ronnie, and you're right. Again, we're voting not against the candidate, but against the system.
Right.
You know,
Hmm.
uh, and that's all we can do. That's I know this isn't the country that uh, I served. So many years ago,
Hmm.
and it's like, well, it's almost been 50 years now,
Hmm.
and it certainly changed in the last 50 years.
Right.
Trump is
So
the last outpost. Yeah,
if you go to the Harris Walls website, there's really not a whole lot there, but we're starting to hear inklings of what Kamala is for. One of them is a tax on unrealized income.
yeah.
So,
know
say
it was
you
money you
own
didn't
some
make.
stock that you haven't sold, but it's gone up, you could be taxed on that gain, even though you haven't sold it. That's just like, oh,
My
say you
house.
bought a house for, I don't know, $200,000, and now it's worth $500,000. You're going to be taxed on that extra money, and even though you haven't sold the property. I mean, that in itself will just it'll kill the housing market.
Well, yeah. I
It'll
mean, like my house is paid for, so
right.
I'm going to
Yeah,
have cat.
even though you paid for it, you will be taxed on the
The
not the
value of
depreciation.
the home. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
appreciation.
appreciation.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
value of the asset.
yeah, that's right.
yeah.
And if you
When I
these
bought it,
companies
when I
that
bought it, it was $89,000,
wow.
and now it's about 150,000.
Okay.
So 160. It's almost doubled.
And
You know.
all the companies that have publicly traded stock, what they'll do is they'll just change and they'll take it off the public. It'll all be private.
Yeah.
So
Well-
it'll kill the stock market.
Yeah, it's going to do a lot of things, and going. One of the things that Sam said there about China taking. Did you hear what Vance said? He said that he believes all Chinese corporations that own property inside the United States should be kicked out. They
Yes,
shouldn't own one blade of American grass, and I agree.
right. Yeah, they own a lot of agriculture here, a lot of farms. Yeah,
Yeah, Ronnie, very good. Our government can't fix homelessness, but if you pay more in taxes, they can cool the temperature down.
yeah. Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I think they're all going on that same. They must have the same scientists that were selling the big wind turbine through the mountains to get rid of smog out of L.A. They tried to sell to Jed Clampett on the
Yeah.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Right.
You know?
And also another thing, she's copying what Trump wants to do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
With not
Close the borders.
taxing, huh?
Close the borders.
Yeah. Well, that and not taxing tips.
Right.
And when Trump said it, people said, "Well, we'll lose billions of dollars over 10 years." But when Kamala said, "Wow, that's a great idea,"
Well, the thing is one of the I don't know if it was a debt reduction act or whatever they call it, the clean air bill, whatever you want to call it. Part of that had to do is, she was one of the deciding votes that allowed the tips to be taxed because up until then they hadn't been taxed, and she was it was a split vote in the Senate,
right,
and it got passed.
right.
She made she made the deciding vote. So, yeah, no tax on Social Security. I'm
Right.
of course all for that one.
Yeah, me too. And here's another interesting fact about the Philippines. Americans or foreigners that retire there, their income is not taxed,
Yeah,
which is nice because, but
but
you'll pay taxes on things that you buy. So,
but how sad is that our retirees are taking American money and going to foreign countries? I mean, no offense to the Philippines, but American money that you earned it all these years,
right.
and it's American money, and you're free to do with it as you wish. I agree, but
That's
it's
right.
sad that our country is not conducive to keeping Americans here to spend their American money.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And that's the sadness
it's becoming very few states that are have the lower standard of, or not the standard of living, but cost of living that
Yeah.
people will move to. Like
Well-
Tennessee is one of them. Oklahoma is one of them. Colorado used to be one of them. And now, because the Democrats control the state, it's getting harder and harder to live here.
Well,
And
no disrespect to RFK Jr. because I happen to, I've been kind of touting him, I've been talking about him for quite a bit, but it's his damn family's fault that Colorado is the way it is. When the Kennedys started buying all those ski lodges up there in the '60s, and saying, "Hey, come out here," and we got all the Democrats out there.
yeah, mhm.
So it's his damn family's fault that Colorado is
Yeah.
screwed up as it is.
So
Because they,
well,
in a lot of ways,
You
they
know
started
who-
the influx.
well, you know who the Stryker family is?
Sounds familiar, and I'm sure I should
They
know.
are in the medical business.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
make they make the beds in
Yes,
the
yes, yeah.
hospital. Well, Homer Stryker, he's the guy that founded the company,
Right,
and his granddaughter Pat Stryker
right.
moved out here, and she was part of the group of Democrats that came up with the blueprint on how to take over Colorado, along with
There you
Jared
go.
Polis
Well, yeah,
Bridges.
yeah. But
Yep.
that's what I mean, though. It was like these, granted, they moved out there because they had a lower cost of living, but a lot of the Democratic influence started when you started getting so many Democratic politicians coming out there to ski during the winter and that had ski lodges and stuff.
Right.
Once in Hollywood, people that were connected to
Yep.
those same people.
You
And
all went to Aspen.
yeah, it's just all, yeah, they all went to Aspen and Vail and and places like that.
Yep. Hmm.
And it started literally, it started the snowball rolling,
Hmm.
and once that happened, you started getting in these other businesses. They were convinced, hey, this is a nice place
Hmm.
out here. And I, I, I think like I said, when the Kennedys started going out to Vail and Aspen, that's when I
Well,
think.
they mostly went to Sun Valley. I don't remember hearing them coming to
When I lived there,
Colorado.
they were coming out there all the time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's
Well,
why I'm saying I know what I'm talking about because I
yep.
remember every year they came out there.
Uh-huh.
That was in the '60s and late '60s, early '70s or mid '70s,
Yeah.
and well, mid '60s really. But yeah, they were always coming through, uh,
Uh,
one group or
Ronnie,
another.
Ronnie wants to know if there's government agencies sponsoring. I would not doubt it. I would
I
not doubt.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Right.
Uh, you know, uh, I I mean, because like those 57 or 57, you know, agents that were talking about the hunter's laptop was disinformation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Some of those people were active agents, and they were in the higher up. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yep. Also, Kamala Harris wants to give first-time home buyers $25,000 for down payment. Gee, I wonder where that money is going to come from. So, I mean, it's not free. It's got to come from somewhere. Where is it going to come from? I mean, are they going to cut some program to help this out, or are they just going to, hey, let's speed up that printing press and print out a bunch of more money and
yeah.
inflate the system? You know. And then she wants. Oh, there's a video out there as well where she wants to take patents. Oh my!
She wants to
The
what?
government patents.
Oh yeah, she wants to take control of patents so that
Yeah,
they can make the money off of them.
yeah. So and that
Yeah,
right
she's got
there
some
will.
harebrained ideas, that's for sure. And it
Yeah.
won't. It's I don't think
Hmm.
she'll get that. I don't think she'll get that through. But
Right. And also, she said way back when she ran for president, she said, I'm going to ban fracking. Now she's saying, no, I'm not going to ban fracking. Yeah, yeah, we believe that. Yeah, that's a
Frack
bunch
you.
of BS.
yeah,
She doesn't even want offshore drilling as well.
yeah.
So, can you imagine if she becomes president? She'll pretty much shut down a lot
Well,
of our, and they're all saying, "Oh, we're producing more oil than ever." Bullshit,
well,
bullshit. We're importing more oil than we do exporting.
well.
Uh,
The problem is we're selling our reserves. We're not keeping them for us.
yeah, that's right.
Our emergency reserves are being sold to foreign countries for us to buy back. Really? You
Well,
know?
she giving, selling that oil or flooding the market in hopes of driving down the cost because it's creating more goods out there and it drives down the price. But you can only do that for so long. You
Right.
can't do that forever. And that's why we need a good production of oil in our own country. when Donald Trump was president, we were energy independent. We were actually selling our oil to overseas, a
Yeah,
lot of
our
it to Europe.
excess. You know,
Yes,
once anything above and beyond what we used or was
right.
being saved for the emergency
Yeah, the
oil
strategic
reserves.
oil
Yeah,
reserve.
and Joey, you're right. The UAW would be, but there is a portion of the UAW who's actually voting for Trump. He's got.
Yes,
There's been several of the locals have come out in support of Donald Trump
right. Hmm.
because of his, because of the fact that he's not, he's against electric cars,
Right,
which
right.
considering he and Elon are such good friends now, uh,
Hmm.
it's kind of ironic, but
Uh-huh.
Well, not really, because Elon, even despite the fact that Elon is all about electric cars and stuff, he's openly admitted that we're not ready to
right,
go full electric cars.
yeah,
Right,
You know, I mean, he says oil is not an infinite resource, and I would agree that it's not an infinite resource, but we're not ready yet. I mean,
right.
there's you
Our
can't jam
infrastructure,
this down people's throats.
yeah, and our
right.
infrastructure isn't even close to being ready,
Oh,
And
yeah.
you need better batteries, because right now,
and that's what he's been pushing.
if you had an electric vehicle right now and the battery crapped out, it's going to cost you anywhere from 3 to 7 grand to replace the battery.
Just
Hmm.
one.
Yeah, just one.
Right.
I mean, there are ways, there are ways to make sure that your battery lasts way longer than if you just sort of charge it willy nilly.
Right.
But people don't seem to be being told about that.
Yeah.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah. That's because they want the aftermarket selling batteries too. A lot of
Right.
these,
Yeah.
not necessarily Musk, because Musk is actually pushing for a new style, a new type of battery. He's really going after hydrogen. Is
Right.
his next thing, and
Hmm.
hydrogen. You can get hydrogen from water.
Yep.
You know, and the technology has been there, but it's not been cost effective, or it's not been developed to the extent. And I think Elon Musk is going to be the one who will develop it. You know.
Right. Right. And what do you think about Musk being on the panel of efficiency, government efficiency?
Well,
I think, yeah.
I think he'd be good at it because I mean, look what he did with X, and
Yes.
look at how he has run the SpaceX program and the
Hmm.
the shots up to the space station and back, and look at what Boeing has done. They Musk has done more with less
Right.
and done it far infinitely better
Hmm.
than anybody else. It almost sounds like the military. We had to do we had to do more with less and try to do it better than other countries.
That's
You know,
right. That's
and
right.
he understands that's the way business works. You try to be cost efficient in order to and in order to have one, a viable product,
Hmm.
and two, an affordable product, and three, a profitable product. And
Right.
that's why he's going to look at the United States as a business, just like Donald Trump has, and
Right.
it will, and hopefully we will become, a more efficient, more productive, more profitable
Hmm.
country from it.
Hmm. Yeah, isn't it funny how the left used to love uh, Elon Musk up until all of a sudden now he's Trump's friend, and now they want to go after X and SpaceX,
Yeah, yeah,
Tesla. Yeah.
yeah. I did read today, because I was curious about his, somebody had posted, what's his stance on the Second Amendment, and he said the Second Amendment was put there to protect the First Amendment,
Yep.
freedom of religion and freedom of speech, so that a tyrannical government would not have the power to be able to take those rights away from us, and we have a right to defend ourselves
Hmm.
when they do.
Right. Mm-hmm.
which I thought was one of the best statements I've ever heard. The Second Amendment is in place to protect the First Amendment
Right. Mm-hmm.
from tyrannical governments, and
Yep.
that's it, plain and simple.
Yep. And to put bluntly, Trump was a Democrat at one time.
Yeah,
I mean, because he understood how the Democrat Party worked, and so he, donated to both sides, mostly to the Democrats because his business was in New York City, and
right.
he knew how the game was played. And when
Yeah,
he was in that debate with Hillary Clinton, and she said he doesn't pay his taxes, and he goes, "Yeah, I do pay my taxes. I'm just smart about it. I don't evade taxes. I just I use the system to benefit my business." And if you really wanted to go after the rich people, why don't you change the system? Because you won't do that because your friends benefit from the same system.
oh yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
amazing how many rich Democrats there are, and yet they talk about paying their
fair share.
their fair share.
Hmm.
But when you break it down by how much they pay compared to how much we pay as
Right,
middle class or lower middle class, they pay thousands and thousands of dollars more than we will ever probably pay in a lifetime, and they pay
right,
that in a year.
hmm,
Because
right,
when we get through with our tax credits and all that, yeah, we've had X amount of dollars taken out of our paycheck every month, and so that money you get back on your tax return is not free money. That's your friggin' money that you overpaid.
right.
And so
That's
you
right.
try to get the best cuts you can to get back more of that money,
Right.
you know.
Hmm.
And so do the millionaires. They do the same thing. And they get a larger amount because their tax rate is higher than ours.
Right.
You look at my tax rate or your tax rate, you know, you and I are probably in two different tax categories, which
Right.
means my percentage would be more. My percentage to pay would be more than yours,
Right.
you know, and the same. I'd expect Donald Trump's percentage to be much higher than what mine is because he's in a
Mhm.
different tax category. But they don't talk about that. They just want to throw around those numbers, the one percenters and the rich don't pay they pay more than their fair share. But they
Mhm.
also are smart enough to know that, hey, these tax these tax breaks were put in here for a purpose. And
Mhm.
if I don't use them and then I lose money to where I can no longer pay for my business or keep investing in my business, well, then my business goes under, and who knows, hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people will lose their jobs because of
That's
that.
right. Hmm.
But they don't understand. Nobody teaches uh, basic business finance to these kids
Finance,
nowadays.
economics. Yep.
Basic, simple economics.
Hmm.
Nobody teaches that.
Yep. Like return on investment,
Right?
capital, assets,
Yeah.
liabilities, and
Yeah. It's
depreciation.
it's
And
it's like she wanted to do this price fixing on food, on groceries. Well, the problem is, she thinks, there may be a couple of grocery store chains that might be gouging, but the overall chance of it is, and every state has laws against that, and they have an agency that will take care of that. We don't need
right.
a federal government doing it, but what they're not saying is the cost of fuel to
Yeah,
run
and
run
that's
a
what
tractor.
drives the prices
The
of,
cost of fuel has gone up to the cost of seed has gone up because it costs more to for somebody's got to grow the seed. It's just not
right.
invented. So
Hmm.
that means who
Yep.
does that? The farmers.
The farmer. And what do they put in their tractor? Oh, yeah, they put in Gasoline
or diesel fuel.
and how about fertilizer? Where is that? Oh, that comes from petroleum
Right,
as well.
right.
Yeah.
All of that is based off of our, the lowest common denominator in all of this is the petroleum industry.
Yep.
Now,
That's right.
even the petroleum industry isn't making, strides. I mean, I don't know what the cost of gas is in your neck of the woods right now, but as of today, it was $2.55 a gallon.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Wow. Yeah.
It
We're
is very good.
about, 329.
Well, we're at 255 right now here in Muskogee. In Tulsa, it's like 265.
Wow.
But
Mhm.
but that said and done, if they knock off the federal tax, the state tax, and the city tax, I guarantee you that would be closer to a $1.75, maybe even a
Yeah.
$1.50.
Yep. Hmm.
When you go through and you look at all your, if you stand at the gas pump, there's a little sticker there,
Hmm.
and or you can look it up online.
Yeah,
What
all
is your
the fees.
all the fees and everything that,
Yep.
that every person has to pay, and we pay for that. Plus,
Mhm.
we pay for road taxes and stuff like. So every individual, whether you're a farmer or not, you
Hmm.
still got to pay those taxes. Plus,
Yep. That's right.
so if you're, all of that goes into, that fried chicken I had today, that chicken dinner. I still got a great price too. I got a 3-leg dinner with 2
Mhm.
sides and a
Hmm.
a giant sweet tea, and I got it for just under $15. I got it for $14.50. So that's a great price. But I used to be able to buy Judy and I both a meal for $14.50.
Right. Yep. I remember those days. And they like to bring up, the
Procut says
unemployment
it's
rate was
264 there in Tennessee. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. They like to tell, unemployment was way high under Donald Trump. And yet that was during the pandemic when
Yeah,
the
I mean,
government short.
the pandemic didn't happen until his last year in office.
Right.
So
Yeah.
for
And
3 years, he had great
yes.
economic news, and then the
Hmm.
pandemic hit, and unfortunately, followed some bad advice. And I'm not saying that COVID wasn't deadly, because I mean, one of my friends, he lost his wife to COVID.
Right.
And
Hmm.
she was a perfectly healthy. It was the day before her 60th birthday.
Wow. And this is one of my concerns is Trump wins. Don't be surprised if, there's another outbreak of another virus. Oh, they're going to try
Oh,
and
there are.
You're beeping again. You need to get that fixed.
I don't know what's causing it. That's the problem. If I knew what the problem was, I'd fix the damn thing.
Right.
I switched it out today. That's why it hadn't gone off more than it has. And I switched out the leads to another place, but I don't know if I've just got a bad lead or if it's the software that's doing it. What I
Is
may
it a
do
USB mic?
Yeah, it's a USB mic.
Well, it could be that your USB ports are just getting weak, are beginning to fail.
Yeah, it could be, but this isn't that old of a. This computer is a fairly new computer. It's still, as a matter of fact, I think it's still under warranty, so I may call them. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt to have them check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
So they're going to tell, Donald Trump's tax breaks benefited the rich, and it didn't. You know what? His tax breaks covered a lot more than just. Most of it was the middle class that got a tax break. Yeah.
Right.
So, you're right. I don't think if Trump does well, I don't think it's going to move the needle very much, unless he has a really horrible debate, which I don't think he will, because he just cleaned up the floor with Biden, but Biden was so far gone. Then, and that might
Yeah.
be another thing that Trump might talk about is how long did you know about his decline? And why didn't you do something about it back then?
And here's the question that nobody seems to be asking, and they should really be asking: if he's this bad, why is he still our president?
Right,
Why has somebody not invoked the 25th Amendment? If he is this bad,
right,
he
hmm
shouldn't be running the country.
right.
And
Well,
obviously, he isn't. But
yeah, it's
that's not
Obama.
that's not the that's irrelevant. The point is he somebody should have invoked the 25th if he is this bad.
Right.
And I believe that he is. You know, they keep talking about he's got a mental decline and all this. It's the system that keeps him in. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep. I agree, Ronnie.
And I honestly, to be honest with you, I'm not too sure, but what the system is planning on Kamala losing,
Hmm.
just to get her out of the way, throw her under the bus, be done with her.
Right.
You know, they've done it in the past, and occasionally those that they've thrown up there in the past
Hmm.
have actually won. Biden was one of them. They threw him under the bus, and
Right.
hell, he survived it.
Yep. Well, they want to get
They
rid
wanted
of
somebody
the
they can control. Yeah,
right, get rid of the dead weight, so they could, it's sort of like a baseball team that's had a really rough several seasons, and
yeah.
so what they do is they get rid of all the crappy players, and they
They
build
did
up
it
the
with
farm
Hillary.
system, you know,
Yeah,
and they bring in the newer, younger people, like from the state legislatures from around the country. They bring those people up and they help them get elected to federal government, and as a congresswoman or congressman
or senator.
or a senator and so forth. And
Yeah,
that's how, you think about the 50 states as each one of those is like a farm club. And there's always some people that are going to come up through the legislature system to take over when someone decides to retire or they lose. For example, Ed Perlmutter was my congressman for up until I think it was 2018 or 2020. Decided not to run, so now we're stuck with uh, Brittany Pedersen. It was a horrible legislature who thought, hey, it's a good idea. Let's make possession of fentanyl a misdemeanor instead of a felony. Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
And the same with
that's
the congresswoman up in the CDA. And that race is tightening up because now the libertarians have decided not to put up a candidate because the last time they did, and that woman won, I think, with less than 50%. So it was just enough to screw up everything and give the Democrats that seat. So we got a really good candidate. Gabe Evans is running, and so he just may take that seat.
good.
And
You know, Ronnie and the Pro Cut uh, and Ronnie again. They've got three good statements. Actually, four because Pro Cut says all politicians are all politicians are corrupt trash, and
yeah,
I
hmm
can't say I disagree with that. And then Ronnie says politicians have been allowed to get damn comfortable with their jobs, and we've allowed it to happen. And that's the
yeah,
sadness of this. We allowed, we've
mhm,
allowed the press to control our thinking. We've allowed them, you know, there was a time if somebody said something that was too bad on the news or, we boycotted it. You know,
Right. Mm-hmm.
we would a lot of stuff has been, you know, we would or we'd call into the sponsors and complain to them, and the sponsors say,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're not going to have that kind of shenanigans. We're going to pull that off the, you
Right.
know, and so, and then like Pro Code again says, if they had half a brain, they'd give Trump his deserved second term, because it's going to be bad if they steal it again. Yeah, and
Yep.
I
Mm-hmm.
see that happening. And then the system requires someone that is easy to control.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, you're right. Boycotts have been turned into cancel culture, and
right.
that's
Mm-hmm.
the sadness of it. That and that goes again with you don't see, you know, uh, although from my point of view, a conservative point of view, I thought that the Bud Light boycott was quite successful.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's
Uh,
right.
and
Well,
it's
if you want to get keep politicians from using the system to make themselves rich, you need to change the system. You need to change it to where
we got to
uh,
change the politicians that were willing to change the system, because once
that's
they
true.
get there, their pockets are being lined. You know,
Right. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So one of the things is instead of having our legislatures go to Washington D.C., hey, we've got the technology. It's called Zoom. Let them
yeah,
stay here and save so taxpayers don't have to
pay for their
spend money
apartments.
for them to go to Washington D.C. They could vote via, Zoom,
Yeah,
and also uh, have their income based on the median income of that state.
exactly. Yeah,
There's
because
no
I
reason that some of these guys are making $250,000 a year, and they're living in some apartment or condo in D.C. and they get it's just crazy, and also get them on a 401k program to where they can't just use their influence to go buy a stock and watch it take off like that.
or better yet, you know, put them on Medicare instead of
There you go.
instead
Change their gold plated
their gold plated health.
retirement to
Yeah,
something that's similar to
or
what we
even
get.
or even just basic TRICARE like the uniformed services get, you know, and their spouses.
Right.
Uh, the retirees, they used to get great coverage, but it was run by the U.S. government at the time.
Right.
Well, you know, and both the VA and spouses of both veteran, you know, 100% veterans and uniform services or retirees, they were part of the Champ VA Champ US, the civilian hospital administrative something or another. Anyways, I can never remember what the Champ part stood for, but the veterans are still, their spouses are still on Champ VA, and
Mhm.
whereas the uniform services are on TRICARE. And
All right.
TRICARE doesn't pay, and they have to pay a percentage of, you know, they have to pay a percentage of the payments if they want anything above the basic, which is
Right.
very minimal. They have to pay
Right.
for it, you know.
Right.
And yet they signed down there. You know, when I went in, we got free health care for life. You know,
Right.
well now you go to the VA hospital, and if you earn too much or you're not disabled enough, you pay to use the VA hospital. Now that begs to ask, why in the hell would anybody go to a damn VA hospital if they had to pay for that care? Because,
Yeah.
you know, again, you get what you pay for.
Right.
But there with the Champ VA that Judy had, between that and her Medicare, well, before she passed away, she was in about 6 days apiece in ICU all that time. You know,
Wow.
that's in on respirators and all that. That's expensive. You know, her bills came up to probably close to $500,000. But I haven't had to pay a dime because her insurance covered it. you know, and I'm thankful for that. But
Hmm.
these politicians that they work to, they go up there and spend 2 years and they've got a better insurance than I do.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
because as you know, they say they served their country. What did they do? If they were a veteran, yeah, they deserve it. But if they just went to college and then came home and started a small business, and the only thing they've done is go up there and become a professional politician,
Right.
no, that's not
Hmm.
serving the country.
Yep.
Yeah, just my
Well, all righty. Well, we've done a little over an hour. We covered a lot of ground tonight, and want to thank everybody in the chat for coming. Please tell your friends about this. Let's try to get more support here. Last I looked, we're at 488 subscribers. Let's try to get that up to 1,000. That'd be nice. Let's
yeah.
get the word out and let's grow this channel, and then we could, you know, make it a better channel. So you
Yeah.
guys have a great week. Go watch the debate. I'll watch as much as I can because I get up early in the morning, so I can't really watch a whole lot of it. Maybe a half hour of it. So you all have a great evening, and we'll all catch you next week. Don't forget Art Code Drones and Entertainment on Saturday. Uh, uh, Go check that out and tell your friends about that. We need to get more viewers as well there. So,
And my show is tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
and the Grumpy Vlogger tomorrow
Yep.
night. Go check that out, and take care, everybody. Good night.
Good night, folks.
Good night, everyone.